Hey class, welcome to the first video I'm doing here for our summer session, Revit ABT 135/135 lab. If you haven't noticed already in Blackboard, I only have the lecture up. I don't use two different shells in Blackboard to take care of the lecture and the lab. Your lab grade will be based on the work that you're producing based off of these videos and documents that I provide for you guys on a weekly basis. This course is going to be set up differently than I typically teach it in a 15-week semester. Since we only have 5 weeks together, I'm really consolidating a lot of information into the weeks to try to get the most out of using Revit and getting you guys to be able to move around the program as freely as you did with AutoCAD. As you can see, if you've already started taking a look at Revit and the interface that we're working with, it is very similar to AutoCAD. You know, everything is based from the AutoCAD drawing program. And so throughout your design career, if you use different design softwares, you're going to notice a lot of similarities. Revit being the same manufacturer as AutoCAD, going to be even more so. So all of your modified tools, I'm skipping an entire chapter of a textbook that I usually use in the spring semester when I teach this course on just being able to move around and use the modified tools. I'm going to put up a cheat sheet in this week's content folder for you. Download it, keep it in a folder for yourself for this class and future classes. It is exactly like CAD's Modify panel. And I'll get into that once I get into the interface of Revit here. But I just kind of wanted to bring that up and acknowledge it, that I'm giving you a cheat sheet and we're going to use the modified tools just like we would in CAD. And we're going to use them throughout the semester together in this summer session. In this video, to complete the assignment, really what we're going to be working mostly on is the overview of line details. So the detail line tool. When you first open up Revit, you should always come to this front page, if you will, and we have different families here. We have different models going on. You'll have multiple models as we go through this course to files that you've been working on that you could jump right onto instead of going into your folders and finding the file specifically. We have different families here, and most importantly, I want you to be able to understand how to use models and going into the new command, and then understanding that there are different templates. So you have a construction, architecture, structural, and a mechanical template built already into our Revit program. Pretty much for this course, we're going to be using the architectural template. We're going to be designing tiny houses. So we want the architectural template. What that means is these different families that you're seeing in each category up here for your template files, they will have different families related to the structural commercial, type design building. The mechanicals, the HVACs, the plumbing, the electrical. We're going to be getting into some of this stuff if you're going to take the BIM Building Information Modeling course with me in the fall. But again, for this course and our purposes here, we're going to use the architectural template. And here we are. One other little note I wanted to add to this video and acknowledge for you guys is I will be putting videos that I use in the semester-long Revit course that I teach, and I will talk about the textbook a lot. Again, we are not using a textbook here. I am following the textbook, and I did put that information in our syllabus. It's not required, but if you would like to purchase it, it is, I think it's right under 50 bucks or right around $54. It's a handy book to have. Has a lot of really great information. We do a residential house in the 15-week semester course for this Revit class. But again, I just didn't, I wanted to try something different in this summer course and try to teach this design software without using a textbook. So, but I will reference to that in the videos that I'm posting in our course content. And then all of the work that you're doing for your lab, I'll be adding new videos related to this summer session. So I hope that doesn't confuse you guys. If it does, sorry, just trying to give you as much information as I can in the shortest amount of time that we have together. All right, so anyways, let's move on. Over here on the left-hand side, or let's look up at the top at the ribbon and the tabs. As you can see, this is still called a ribbon, and these are still called tabs. You have different menus up top for print, undo, text. We have this great little house right here, which is the 3D, one of the areas that we could get to for the 3D view of whatever we're drawing. And down at the bottom of our screen, you could see where our scale is, and then there's a lot of different icons that you will learn along the way here together with us, as well as other courses that you're going to take. So we'll fool around with those later. Over here to the right, you also have more icons that we won't be able to cover everything in this course, but just be observant of what they are, play around with them when you have time, and it's the best way to learn it, as you know. So ribbon, tabs, different areas for menus. One thing different than CAD is we have this great properties box over here and a project browser. So this is project 1. Right now I haven't renamed it or anything. And the project browser is going to organize all of the files related to this project. So your floor plans, your ceiling plans, your elevations, sheet sets, schedules, families, groups, all of these great things right at the ease of our fingertip by keeping these open over here on the left-hand side. Properties is when we go into something in the ribbon, say whoops, I just got rid of what I didn't want to get rid of. I went into wall. It will come up in your properties as what the wall is. Always look for that arrow because that means that there's more information there, right? So we're just going to click on that arrow and you can see that this is full of pre-made walls, right? No CAD doing our lovely offset and creating our wall thickness and drywall and everything else. Revit has it all built in there for you. That's why we choose the different templates. And you'll see this change throughout the different templates too. If you want to fool around with that and check it out, you'll be able to see that as well. You can watch other videos that I have in our course content related to this interface. The elevation markers, please be aware we don't want to lose these. If you do, we'll find them. Don't worry, we can put them back. But we want to be able to draw within the center, within this space of these elevation markers. It will help us when we are projecting our building elevations and our 3D models. So just make sure you're always working within these elevation markers. Right now I have the ribbon is highlighted green, and then you can also see that there's a line here that we're able to add information such as the wall height, such as the location line for where it's going to be dimensioned. Wall center, you can look at that little arrow. We have the exterior, interior, the core, that would be the wood framing of the wall. Chain, that means you're going to continuously build this wall, in a square. It's going to be continuous around on 4 sides. Offset, is there a floor system here that we need to offset our wall from? So there's a lot of different things that we can adjust before we even start drawing to help ourselves move along the project much easier. Once you play around with the detail line tool and the objects that I want you to draw using this detail line tool, we're going to jump into a cabin design. a really, really simple 4-wall, a couple interior walls, throw some windows and doors in there, play around with the roof. So you're going to get a little bit more involved in the properties of the walls and such. So if you follow along on the document that I provided for this assignment, I go through the starting a new project. We open up the architectural template. You have your drawing window. I just kind of went over that. Your drawing window, whenever you come into a new drawing, you should always be on level 1. I know I'm on level 1 because I see that it's highlighted, right? It's bold. So that's how you know that you are on level 1. One of the ways that you'll know you're on level 1. The other way is up top where it says Autodesk Revit. I have 2020 up here. That's the version that I'm using. Project 1, floor plan, level 1. So a couple different areas that you can just kind of observe and make sure that you're on the right, location. So the document is going to tell you that in the ribbon, I would like you to go to the View tab. And then where it is, where it says Create on the ribbon, you're going to go to Drafting View. Drafting View. So a new Drafting View. This is going to come up every time, and you're going to save, let's see, I think I have 11 objects that you're going to name this way. The first object is just simply a line. So it's just a line. We can change the scale. I'm telling you to change the scale to 3/4 of an inch equals a foot. Equals a foot. And I can say, okay. Now I can start to, let me just come over here. You can see over here in our project browser under Drafting View, it has one of these lines that go to my Drafting View title called Line. And now I simply want to draw a line. So if I go over here to annotate, don't forget annotate is where you dimension, text, and you have the detail drawings, detail line that I'm looking for you to use. So you're going to click on detail line, and then you can see that our ribbon turns green because we're in a command and we can change things right now. We could do an offset, we could do a radius on this. And then you can see over here in the modify panel, I have different draw objects. If you just hover over them, just like in CAD, we can see it comes up with what that object is, and what I can do tells me how I can achieve it. Right now, I just want to create a line. So I'm going to take that line and I'm going to start somewhere. There's no elevation markers on this because we're in a drafting view. We're in a 2-dimensional view right now. So you can click anywhere. And as you can see, you can start moving your cursor in any direction in the positive or towards the right. I can go up to my 45-degree angle. Yes, we can change the snaps on those just like in CAD to be able to get the angle exact. Right now, you can see that I have temporary dimensions up. The program has temporary dimensions up automatically. I could tell, and you should be able to tell, that these are temporary dimensions because they're not as bold, right? So they're a little bit hidden. I can also, right at this moment, I'm not even touching my mouse currently, right at this moment, I can come up with whatever dimension I want for this line, and I can just type it in, okay? I don't have to keep going, and then I ended up ending my line so I can continuously go around and make different lines because I do have chain on, so it's going to be a continuous flow of lines, whichever direction I'm going in, but I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to right-click my mouse, cancel out of it, and I want to deal with this line that I just drew. I don't care how long you drew it to begin with. My first object to complete, the final line length I want you to do is 22 feet 6 inches. So with Revit, I'm looking at my timing on this video, and I might have to add a second video to complete the rest of the objects because I think I only have a 15-minute timer. So just want to give you a heads up that I might be stopping this and having to continue on with another video. I'm actually going to do that right now before I even start modifying this line. So jump on to video 2 for week 1's assignment here.